All right, listeners, today we are diving into a request that we got from one of you. Someone's got their sights set on Estonia.
Estonia.
And honestly, I can see why not, just for those beautiful Baltic landscapes, although those are pretty tempting. But for that incredible tech scene they've got going on over there.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to see how Estonia has positioned itself as a digital leader, especially in Europe. And they've attracted so much international attention, from businesses looking to tap into that tech talent pool.
Exactly. Think business-friendly regulations, EU membership, and a workforce that's basically fluent in tech.
Yeah.
It seems like the perfect recipe for success, especially for startups and tech companies. And there's always a but, isn't there?
There is, and it's something that comes up time and time again when businesses are considering going global,
right?
Especially into a place like Estonia. And it's how do you navigate the complexities of, local laws and employment regulations.
Right, the stuff that can keep you up at night.
Yeah.
Taxes, contracts, benefits, all those legal details that are specific to Estonia.
Yeah.
It can feel overwhelming, even for seasoned businesses.
It can be a very real hurdle. But what if I told you there's a way to break down that barrier?
Okay.
A way to tap into all that Estonian potential without getting bogged down in the bureaucratic quicksand.
Okay, now you've got my attention. This sounds like a solution I need to know about.
It's all about finding the right partner. And that's where the concept of an employer of record, or EOR, comes in.
EOR. I've heard the term thrown around, but honestly, I'm still a little fuzzy on what it actually means. Can you break it down for me and for your listeners who might be in the same boat?
Absolutely. So imagine this. An EOR becomes the legal employer for your Estonian team. They handle all the nitty-gritty details. We're talking contracts, payroll taxes, benefits, even work permits and visas. They basically become your HR department in Estonia.
So instead of me having to set up a whole separate legal entity in Estonia, deal with all the paperwork, and try to decipher the local laws, I can essentially outsource all of that to an EOR.
That's the idea. And if you're looking for a partner with a proven track record in Estonia, particularly when it comes to helping businesses expand globally, you'd want to look into a company like INS Global.
INS Global.
They have the expertise to guide you through every step of the process.
Okay, INS Global. I'm making a note of that. So let's say I'm interested in exploring this EOR route with a company like INS Global. What does that process actually look like?
Well, for a company like INS Global, it's all about making the transition as seamless as possible. And they typically have a 3-step process.
3 steps. Okay, I can handle that. Tell me more.
So the first step is all about understanding your specific needs.
Okay.
So INS Global would sit down with you, discuss your goals, what kind of team you're looking to build in Estonia, and your overall timeline. It's all about creating a custom fit plan for your business.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Exactly.
They really tailor things to my specific situation.
They want to make sure they're providing the right level of support for your unique expansion goals. And then the second step is where things really start to happen. Think recruitment, onboarding, and all those crucial legal details we talked about earlier. INS Global handles it all.
So they'd help me find the right people for my team in Estonia?
They have a deep understanding of the Estonian talent market and can help you find the best candidates. Plus, they handle all the contract creation, ensuring everything is 100% compliant with Estonian labor laws. And they even manage the work permits and visa logistics.
Wait, so they actually become the legal employer of my Estonian team? That sounds like a huge weight off my shoulders.
It is.
Especially when it comes to potential legal issues.
Absolutely. And by INS Global acting as the legal employer, they significantly minimize your risk. You're protected from any legal hiccups related to employment in Estonia.
That peace of mind alone has to be priceless. All right, so we got the planning, the recruitment, the legalities. What's the third step?
The third step is all about ongoing support. INS Global doesn't just disappear after your team is hired. They handle payroll, benefits, taxes, and stay on top of any changes in Estonian regulations so you don't have to.
So they're basically my eyes and ears on the ground in Estonia, making sure everything runs smoothly and, most importantly, legally, even after the initial hiring process is done.
Precisely. And this ongoing support is incredibly valuable, especially for businesses that might be new to operating in Estonia. Plus, for temporary projects or smaller teams, using an EOR can be much more cost-effective than setting up a whole subsidiary in Estonia.
That makes a lot of sense. So if I'm hearing you correctly, using an EOR can save me time, money, and a whole lot of stress.
Yeah.
allow me to focus on what really matters.
Yep.
Growing my business.
Yeah, and it's all about finding the right partner to help you navigate the complexities of international expansion.
Okay, so let's say I'm totally on board with the idea of using an EOR in Estonia.
Right.
How do I choose the best one for my needs? What should I be looking for?
That's a great question. Choosing the right EOR is crucial for success in Estonia, and there are a few key things to consider.
All right, give me the insider tips. What should be at the top of my list?
First and foremost, look for an EOR with a proven track record in Estonia, ideally in your industry.
Okay.
You want someone who understands the nuances of both the local market and your specific field.
So experience matters. What else is important?
Make sure they offer a comprehensive suite of services. You want them to handle payroll taxes, benefits, contract creation, work permits, visas, basically everything you need to operate seamlessly in Estonia. You don't want to have to juggle multiple providers.
Right. One-stop shop for all my HR needs in Estonia. Got it. Anything else I should be thinking about?
Scalability is key. The EOR should be able to grow with your business as you expand in Estonia. You need a partner who can adapt to your evolving needs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to outgrow my EOR and have to start the process all over again. So expertise, comprehensive services, and scalability. What about communication? I imagine that's pretty crucial when you're dealing with a company overseas.
You're absolutely right. Clear and regular communication is essential. You want an EOR that provides regular updates, has a dedicated contact person for your account, and is proactive about keeping you informed. And of course, transparency and pricing is crucial. No hidden fees, everything spelled out clearly from the start.
That's a must-have, for sure. I don't want any financial surprises down the road.
No.
Okay, so I've got my checklist for choosing an EOR. Now, I have to ask, what are some of the things that might surprise me about Estonian labor laws?
Well, one thing that often stands out is that in Estonia, everything has to be documented.
Yeah.
We're talking formal written employment contracts that outline every detail of the agreement between you and your employee, salary, working hours, benefits, termination procedures. It all has to be spelled out clearly and comply with Estonian law.
So no handshake agreements or vague promises.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be official and in writing.
Exactly. And speaking of working hours, Estonia has a standard 40-hour work week, but they're pretty strict about overtime. If someone works beyond those 40 hours, you either have to pay them extra or give them time off in return. It's all about protecting work-life balance.
That makes sense. It seems like Estonia really prioritizes employee well-being. What about things like vacation time?
Estonia is actually quite generous when it comes to vacation time. Employees get a minimum of 28 days of paid annual leave, plus public holidays, and then you've got maternity leave, paternity leave, sick leave, all those important benefits.
Wow, 28 days. That's almost a whole month of vacation. Are there any other unique aspects of Estonian labor law that I should be aware of?
One more thing to keep in mind, Social Security is mandatory in Estonia. Both the employer and the employee contribute to a system that covers health insurance, pensions, and other social benefits. It's a shared responsibility, which is something you'll see in many European countries.
So it's about creating a safety net for everyone. Makes sense. And just to be clear, this is just scratching the surface of Estonian labor law, right? There are probably a lot more nuances and details that an EOR would be able to navigate.
Absolutely. These are just the highlights. There are many specific regulations and procedures that an EOR like INS Global would handle expertly, ensuring you stay on the right side of the law.
Now, it sounds like having an EOR like INS Global in my corner would be invaluable when expanding into Estonia. It's like having a local expert guiding me through every step of the process.
It's all about simplifying global expansion.
Sure.
You focus on what you do best, growing your business, and let the EOR handle the complexities of international employment.
Okay, listeners, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a lot more confident about the prospect of expanding into Estonia. And a big part of that is knowing that there are resources like INS Global out there to make the transition smoother.
And a big part of that is knowing that there are resources like INS Global out there to make that transition smoother.
Yeah. And, as we were talking before, I kept thinking about all the headaches and uncertainties that come with expanding internationally.
Oh, absolutely.
It's almost enough to make you want to stay put.
I understand that feeling completely, but that's precisely where the value of an EOR shines through.
Yeah.
They're not just about ticking boxes and ensuring technical compliance. They're about providing peace of mind and empowering you to focus on what you do best.
So it's about having a trusted partner in Estonia, someone who's got your back and is invested in your success.
That's exactly it. A good EOR is like an extension of your team working alongside you to navigate the intricacies of the Estonian market. And in that sense, a company like INS Global really stands out.
Right.
They've built a reputation for being more than just a service provider. They're true partners who are passionate about helping businesses thrive in Estonia.
That's what I like to hear. Now, you mentioned INS Global has a dedicated team in Estonia. Can you tell me more about the specific services they offer? We touched on the basics,
Yeah.
but I'm curious to hear what else they bring to the table.
Well, as we discussed earlier, they cover all the essentials like payroll, taxes, benefits, administration, contract creation, work permits, and visas. But they go beyond that, offering services that really make a difference in building a successful team in Estonia.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me the good stuff. What are some of those extras that set them apart?
For instance, they can help you develop a customized HR strategy for your Estonian team, taking into account your specific industry, company, culture, and growth plans. It's not just about following the rules. It's about creating a work environment that fosters growth and aligns with your company values.
It's about creating a cohesive team, even though they're operating in a different country. That makes a lot of sense.
Right. And let's say you're looking to hire top-tier talent in Estonia. iInvest Global can leverage their extensive network and recruitment expertise to find the perfect candidates for your open positions. They understand the local talent market and can attract and retain the best people in your field.
Wait, so they're not just an EOR, they're a recruitment agency too that's incredibly convenient.
It is, and they're really good at it. They know how to identify candidates who are not only skilled, but also a good cultural fit for your company.
Okay, let's say I decide to go with INS Global for my Estonian expansion. What can I expect in terms of communication and support? I have to admit, I'm a bit apprehensive about handing over so much control to a company overseas.
I completely understand that concern, but with INS Global, you can expect a very hands-on and personalized approach. They'll assign you a dedicated account manager who will be your single point of contact for all your needs. No getting lost in a sea of automated emails or endless phone trees.
So I'd have a real human being to talk to someone who understands my business and is invested in my success in Estonia.
Exactly. Your account manager will provide regular updates, answer any questions you have, and ensure everything runs smoothly. They'll also keep you informed about any changes in Estonian labor laws or regulations that might affect your business.
That level of personalized support is really reassuring, and I imagine in a fast-paced environment like Estonia's tech scene, those regulations can change quickly.
They can, and that's why having a partner like INS Global who's on top of those changes is so valuable. It takes a lot of the guesswork and uncertainty out of the equation.
Absolutely. Okay, so I've got a dedicated account manager, regular updates, proactive communication. What about accessing information? Is everything handled through emails and phone calls, or is there a more streamlined way to manage things?
That's another area where INS Global excels. They have a very user-friendly online platform where you can access all your HR documents, payroll information, and other important data anytime, anywhere.
So it's like having a virtual HR department at my fingertips 24/7. That's incredible, especially when you're dealing with different time zones and trying to stay on top of everything.
It really simplifies things, giving you more control and transparency over your Estonian operations.
Speaking of transparency, we touched on the importance of clear pricing when choosing an EOR. How does INS Global handle that?
One of the things I really appreciate about INS Global is their commitment to transparency. They provide a clear breakdown of all their fees up front, so you know exactly what you're paying for, no hidden costs, no surprises.
That's so refreshing to hear. Knowing exactly where your money is going and what you're getting in return is crucial, especially when you're expanding into a new market.
Absolutely, and that level of transparency builds trust, which is essential for a successful partnership.
Okay, so I'm convinced that INS Global is the right EOR for me. What's the next step? How do I get started?
It's surprisingly easy. You can reach out to them through their website or simply give them a call. They're very responsive and will be happy to answer any questions you have and schedule a consultation to discuss your specific needs.
Wait, like actually pick up the phone and talk to a real person in this day and age of automated everything that's almost unheard of?
I know, right? But that's part of what makes INS Global different. They believe in building personal relationships and making the process as smooth and accessible as possible.
Well, listeners, if you're serious about expanding to Estonia, and you're looking for a partner who can guide you through the complexities of international employment, I highly recommend reaching out to INS Global today.
They have the expertise, the experience, and the dedication to help you make your global ambitions a reality. Don't let the challenges of international expansion hold you back with the right partner. It can be a truly rewarding journey.
I love that. Now, before we wrap up our deep dive into the world of EORs and Estonia, I'm really curious to hear more about the Estonian work culture. What are some of the things that might surprise me about working with a team in Estonia?
That's a great question. Estonia has a unique work culture that's both fascinating and in some ways very different from what you might be used to.
All right, spill the tea. What should I be prepared for?
All right, spill the tea. What should I be prepared for?
Yeah.
Well, one thing that often stands out to newcomers is the level of digitalization in Estonia. I mean, we've mentioned it before, but it really is remarkable how seamlessly technology is integrated into everyday life there.
So it's not just about having fast internet and using the latest gadgets.
It goes much deeper than that. You know, we're talking e-governance, e-residency, digital signatures, online voting, you name it.
Wow.
It's a truly digital society, which makes doing business in Estonia incredibly efficient.
Okay, that's impressive. But I imagine that level of digitalization also requires a certain level of trust and transparency.
Absolutely. And that's something that's deeply embedded in Estonian culture. They have a strong emphasis on fairness, openness, and a level playing field.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about the values that underpin it.
Exactly. And that creates a really interesting dynamic in the workplace. You have this combination of technological prowess and a very ethical and transparent approach to business.
Now, we talked earlier about Estonians being direct in their communication, but are there any other cultural nuances that I should be aware of, especially when it comes to building relationships with Estonian colleagues?
One thing that often surprises people is that Estonians tend to be quite reserved at first.
Yeah.
They're not as outwardly expressive as some other cultures.
So no backslapping or over-the-top enthusiasm right off the bat.
Probably not. But don't mistake that reserve for coldness or unfriendliness. It's just their way. Once you get to know them, you'll find that they're incredibly loyal, supportive, and genuine friends.
Okay, so building trust takes time, but once you've earned it, it's a solid foundation.
Absolutely. And along with that reserve comes a strong sense of independence. Estonians value self-reliance and personal responsibility.
So micromanaging is probably not a good idea.
Definitely not. They want to be given the freedom to do their work and take ownership of their projects.
Makes sense, and it sounds like that kind of work ethic aligns perfectly with the startup and tech culture that's thriving in Estonia.
It's a perfect match. You have this environment where people are empowered to take risks, innovate, and think outside the box.
And that brings us back to why Estonia is such an attractive destination for businesses, especially in the tech sector. It's not just the talent pool or the digital infrastructure. It's the whole culture that supports innovation and growth.
It's a winning combination. And with the right guidance and support from an EOR like INS Global, navigating the complexities of expanding into Estonia can be a truly rewarding experience.
Well, listeners, I think it's safe to say that we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We've explored the ins and outs of employer of record services, demystified Estonian labor laws, and delved into the fascinating world of Estonian work culture.
And hopefully we've inspired some of you to consider Estonia as your next global destination. It's a country with so much to offer businesses of all sizes, especially those looking to tap into a world-class tech scene and a supportive business environment.
Absolutely. And if you're ready to take the plunge, INS Global is there to guide you every step of the way. They have the expertise, the experience, and the passion to make your Estonian expansion a success story.
So what are you waiting for? If you're intrigued by what you've heard today and you're ready to explore the possibilities, reach out to INS Global today.
Tell them about your expansion project and let them show you how they can help you navigate the exciting world of international business. And remember, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to global expansion. Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep those global ambitions alive.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.